Morning everyone, Jack here with Hoagie Lewis and Salty Cape. I'm here with my good friend and Hoagie Pro staffer, Captain Lowell of Cape Cod Offshore Charters. We just ran out of the Merrimack River up here north of Boston at Jeffrey's Ledge. Greeted with some flat calm conditions, made for a really enjoyable ride out.
And we got one on deck already.
Already got a haddock on board. This is actually our first fishing and filming trip of 2023 up here in the Northeast. Super excited for this season, got a lot of big things planned, so if you enjoy the videos, make sure you like, subscribe, stay up to date with all the new stuff. Seems like haddock fishing is the first fish that anglers here in the Northeast load the boat up for, get out here and target, so super excited to be out here. Captain Rob's gonna set us up on a drift. We're gonna use the electronics, look for some live bottom, look for some fish, some bait, and hopefully find the fish, start jigging for them. This one feels like a haddock. On my first drop of the day too. Marking some good piles of fish down deep, so let's see what we got here. Seems like the two beakies work good. You know, there's a lot of Acadian redfish out here. You know, some smaller worms out on the bottom. Tubes are a great imitator of those. Got an 8.5 ounce sandhill jig on the bottom. Fish is coming up. Oh, nice haddock.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Over the rail and in the pail.
Over the rail in the pail.
Definitely not lights out fishing. Really making us work for them today, unfortunately. But we've seemed to find a small pile of fish in a pretty small area. So what we're trying to do is just short drift that spot, make sure we hit it as close to the same every time we can. Marking bait, marking some fish, not a crazy amount, but it seems like every time we go over a pile we get you know, 2 or 3 rods down. So creeping up, got a pretty good box so far. Not really what we want yet, but pretty good amount of haddock. I think we'll probably eventually get to our limit here, but see right here, I found this area that has them. So basically what we're doing is, you know, the drift is going northwest right now. So I'm just trying to get back down. This is where I started the drift right here, and trying to get back down there. We're gonna drift back over that spot a couple more times. It's been a pretty good concentration of haddock right there.
So there's not a whole lot to this technique when fishing for haddock. We're sitting in about 180 feet of water. All we're gonna do is drop that jig down to the bottom. Right now I have a 8.5 ounce sandhill jig on. We've been swapping between the 8.5 ounce and the 6.5 ounce, just depending on the speed of the drift. So drop that jig down to the bottom, collect your line, and to minimize, there's a lot of smaller bycatch around, small cod, small haddock, small redfish. So you don't want a super fast, aggressive jigging motion. What that's gonna do, it's gonna eliminate the snagging of the smaller bycatch. All I'm doing is letting that jig hit the bottom, and I'm just, it's not a dead stick, but it's just a slow raise of the rod. That jig's coming up off the bottom a little ways. Those teasers are dancing around. So it's just a subtle presentation. You know, when the haddock are concentrated in one area, it doesn't take a lot to draw their attention to the jig. So, like I said, just a slow, subtle lifting of the rod. All that jig is doing is fluttering up off the bottom, coming back down. Just a subtle presentation to minimize the snagging of any of the smaller bycatch around. So the setup I'm using today is a very simple setup. It's a Hogy Hybrid Rod. It's a rod you've seen us use in a bunch of different videos. It's kind of our all-around inshore, offshore ground fishing rod. Doubles as a tube and worm rod and also a light tackle trolling rod. So I have that rod paired with an Avid LX 2-speed reel, spooled with 60-pound braid, 60-pound leader. To that I have our two beaky rig to a 8.5 ounce sandhill jig. What I really like about these two beaky rigs, where we're fishing today, Jeffrey's Ledge, there's a lot of small Acadian redfish, small worms, and these two beakies are a great presentation of them. They're small, they're they have that similar color to those Acadian redfish and the smaller worms down there, so matching the hatch of the bait that's down there. With the larger sand eel jig, it's a larger profile, so you have the smaller two beakies to match the hatch of the smaller bait fish, and then the larger sand eel jig, if there's any larger bait fish around. Both bases are covered. You know, a lot of people are using baits for haddock fishing. I'm not a fan of it. It's definitely a time and a place for it, but with the two beakies and the jig itself has the crystal teaser, I wouldn't say it's similar to bait, but you know, there's plenty of action in the water. Entices the fish just as well as bait does. We have a few guys on the boat fishing bait today, and I definitely wouldn't say I'm far behind them in terms of catch numbers. So one of the reasons why I like using artificials instead of bait. So back to the rod, I really like using the hybrid rod for ground fishing for haddock. It's a fun, light rod to use. It has a nice parabolic bend to it, so you know, it bends throughout the whole rod, throughout the whole fight. It's a super durable rod. It's easy to use. Overall, just a great rod. And like I said earlier, it doubles as a trolling rod, so you can have this outfit on your boat, use it for ground fishing, use it for trolling, have both your bases covered with one single rod. Feels like we got a haddock here. It's been a bit of a slow pick today, but you know, a combination of long, happy drifts, using our electronics to find good bottom, helping us get on these fish. Nice haddock. It's about midday right now, coming close on a limit. Pretty good haddock, so I'm gonna try and catch a few more and round the day out.